Hey there and welcome to Reykjavík Greipæn's Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm an editor-in-chief at Reykjavík Greipæn. This is Polly, the chief of morale officers of Reykjavík Greipæn. We're here at Nauthólsvík. We've been here before, of course, in the high summer. But it's also interesting in the winter. You can perhaps see here, it's like Icelanders like to swim in the ocean. Although it's 0 degrees outside. And you can see here, like, there were like a lot of people here before, but they stop. They don't swim for long. They do it just for like minutes, perhaps 10 minutes, and then they go to a hot tub, which is at the beach. But this is a wonderful day, wonderful place. And few things before we start. First, of course, remember our online shop. We have a ton of stuff. Can't emphasize enough how brilliant this shop is, of course. Also a high five club. We're doing okay. I mean, we're up to 700. Our goal is 1,000. So if you care to check it out, then we will be very grateful for that. Also, I want to apologize. We didn't do the last episode of Reykjavík Greipæn Newscast last Wednesday. The reason is that sometimes we're way too just busy doing actually what we do all the day, which is our printed issue. And it just came out, the newest magazine, and with our music awards, where Bríet and Jófríður won the biggest prizes. So if you want to check out our issue, then just check it out. But it's news, right? A lot of things are happening. So let's do it. The biggest news probably right now for our viewers at least is that we changed our borders. This means that we had this option when you came to Iceland that you could quarantine for 14 days or you could do the 2-test quarantine, which is you arrive, do a test, you quarantine for 5 days and then you do the test again and you can go freely to the society if you do not have COVID. This, for some reason, we decided to have this optional. That is, you could decide which one you would take. We thought that, well, we trusted the tourists and people coming to Iceland to honor this. We could call it a trust system in a way, that if you do the 2 weeks quarantine, you would actually do the 2 weeks quarantine. But we had a lot of issues with this. It wasn't like tremendous, but it was enough to make some serious problems in Iceland. Which means that there has been like the epidemiologists, the scientists, they were not happy with this, and they were trying to like change this for months. That is, it would not be optional. You would only have to do the two test option. But the politicians never wanted to do this for several reasons. First of all, it would basically suffocate tourism in Iceland completely. I don't know like how it would have done that, but it was like they were not very fond of this, the government, so they always said no to these suggestions when the epidemiologist asked them to do this. Finally though, enough was enough. So they decided, the government, to go for this option that we would have only when travelers would come to Iceland, they would only have the option to do the 2-test and 5-day quarantine. This though have made some complications also. Perhaps like this, we started on this on Friday, and over the weekend we had some news about this. For example, a family with 1 child. They came to Iceland, 1 or 2 children, I'm not sure. But the children didn't have to, they were too young to do the test, and it didn't really matter because children don't really spread it. But the parents had to, but they were not happy about it. So they basically they contemplated about the issue for 4 hours before they basically had the option to go back or do the test, and they decided to do the test after 4 hours thinking. You would think it would be a no-brainer just to do this, but I mean, it is what it is, and it like indicates that not many were going to honor this. At least not this family. I mean, they had some plans which were perhaps not going according to the plan anymore. So we have now this 2 tests and which is in my opinion fine. I mean, it's more simple, it's more effective, and also like the COVID numbers in Iceland are very low right now. We had over this weekend we had zero COVID cases for one day, the first day since in September that we had a day like that. But yesterday was 4 cases. So it varies, of course, between like 0 now up to like 10, I guess. But when you look at the airport, we are having like a lot of cases coming from there, COVID cases, and all kind of cases, and people are trying to get through the borders without quarantining that much. So this is in some ways disappointing, but I mean, it is what it is, and you need to have the borders more secure now, especially because Iceland is fairly safe right now, but the world is spiking up when it comes to COVID incidents. So right now we have 143 people in isolation, 177 in quarantine, which is phenomenally low actually, if you look at the world. And also our Prime Minister, Katrín Jakobsdóttir, she's still very optimistic that we will have vaccinated the nation, like most of the nation, in the middle of this year. If that will work out, I mean, then we're basically good to go, I guess. I mean, let's see how it goes, but not everybody is that convinced about this. Also, now the Statistics Bureau in Iceland, we call it Hagstofan, they have now taken together like the numbers, how much it have costed the government, us the taxpayers, to go through this pandemic. And turns out it's 60 billion Icelandic krona. This means this is like 381 million euros, or around like $460 million. So this is been quite a hefty, like quite a punch to our economy. And of course, these numbers are like probably similar to other countries per capita, but it's huge numbers. Most of this money has gone to the what's the name? I can't remember this. It's such an Icelandic word. We call it hlutabótaleið, but it's partial benefit that you get when like a company is struggling. Then the directory of directory of workers, like unemployment. You get unemployment benefits basically for your work. They will pay. The government pay you I don't remember how it is now, 50% or up to 75%, but it's quite a number though. Okay, it's impossible to have her in a leash, so I'm just gonna let her roam around. Not like she goes anywhere. So I mentioned the deaths from the vaccines. We're investigating 5 deaths in connection with the vaccine. Very old people with a lot of complication when it comes to their health died from the vaccine. Like they thought that 5 people died in connection with the vaccine. Now they have investigated it, and there is only 1 death that they can't rule out at the moment when it comes to vaccine. So it's like they say it's within the statistics, which is of course frightening in itself. It's always alive, but it does mean that they are like concerned, and they are actually like following this with a lot of attention. Also, in other news, not COVID related, is that we are going to try to sell Íslandsbanki. Basically in English is like the Bank of Iceland. Iceland have owned the banks in Iceland. The Icelandic government have owned these banks since everything just went burst in Iceland in 2008, when the financial system completely collapsed, and we ended up with the 4th biggest bankruptcy in the history of mankind. Not per capita, it's just the fourth biggest. I mean, a lot of you of course remember this news. We almost just, it was a very hectic time. I was a young journalist at the time, and it was a fun time to be a journalist, but a bad time to have to have things and lose them, and people are losing their homes and so on. So of course we jailed a lot of banksters. There were several. They did a lot of bad things, and they were basically sentenced for jail. I think the highest prison time that someone got was around 5 years, though, combined for like a lot of cases. The thing is that it's a lot of controversial around the selling of this bank. First of all, because Icelanders don't trust bankers. Second of all, Icelanders don't trust their government when it comes to the financial system. Also, Icelanders see that this timing is odd, mostly because there is an election in the end of the year, and they are concerned if the Independence Party is trying to sell it to perhaps a friend of theirs. Also, this is of course like a political trend thing. I mean, it's like of course, we would hope that there will be more. We think they will be more responsible about it, but people have pointed out, like, who is going to buy this bank right now? Who has the money, like in the midst of COVID? Also, when the banks are, they could be in a better position. You could get higher price for these banks if you would sell them later. But they say, the government say, no, this is a fine time to sell, and they are trying to convince the nation that this is the right time. But the only ones that have money today, at least in Iceland, are the fishing industry. And Icelanders are not trusting them either, mostly because of Samherjamáli. Whoa! Airplane, you remember them? I actually haven't seen a commercial flight for the longest time. This one is probably coming from Akureyri or Egilsstaðir. It's domestic flight in Iceland. Anyways, when it comes to the banking system, Icelanders have also they're not stupid when it comes to numbers. They realize that us owning these banks we have in the past decade, we've gotten 207 billion Icelandic krona from dividend. I think I'm saying it correctly. This means that because the Icelandic government is now losing 60 billion only because of the COVID. Well, just wait for like 4 months. We'll probably get it back from the bank through the dividend. But also the banks, like the financial section is saying that the banks have been in a unique situation for the longest time right now. So this is also going to change. We're not going to get those like humongous dividends from these banks because it's like they have been in almost like a bubble. Also, another thing that Icelanders want, they want foreign investors when it comes to the banks, because we don't trust Icelandic bankers. But this is not either going to happen because, well, we have the Icelandic krona, and the Icelandic krona is a complete mess, especially right now. It's always been a mess, and nobody wants to like come even near it. What like a professional banker would never like come into this situation because it's not that lot of money, and the Icelandic government are often like. They have been irresponsible in some views when it comes to the Icelandic krona. So this is basically what we're thinking about right now. Selling our banks, COVID, and things are going pretty fine right now. Could be worse. We were very free, like in the society. You can see here we have a jogging group, running group. So people are swimming in the ocean. People are actually flying between Akureyri and Egilsstaðir and Reykjavík, which are all towns in Iceland. So, I mean, I'm quite happy. And also the weather, it's windy, but it's like 0 degrees, which is way better than we've had past weeks when we went down to like minus 14, 15 degrees, and with this wind it's probably around minus 20 or something. So it's yeah, it is what it is. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you like it, like and subscribe and share it even if you really love it and you want your friends to see it. But until next time, thank you. Polly! Kati! Þú ert nú meiri kærlingin. Þú ert að fara í... Kati!